Yeah, the situation here is worse than I thought. It looks like I really messed up this time. What's up guys, welcome to the GC journey. In this video, we're going to be fixing everything that is wrong with the GC8. What that means is that I need to replace the bushings on the front lower control arms. For that, I have Whiteline bushings for the front and the rear. The gearbox is leaking, we need to fix that. I need to replace the turbo oil return line, which is also leaking from the lower fitting. Get an alignment, because at the moment, every wheel is pointing in a different direction. And then we need to dive deeper into the tuning, correct the idle. So probably not all that exciting, but necessary things that need to be done. I'm going to be starting with doing the bushings on the lower control arms. It's supposed to be a relatively simple job. We know how these things go for me, so I hope it's going to be okay. But let's raise the car, look underneath, and see what we're working with here. Okay, I'm trying not to have a meltdown, but yeah, the situation here is worse than I thought. So it looks like, first of all, there's oil leaking from the oil pump area. I'm gonna guess I didn't seat the oil seal properly. At least I'm hoping that's all it is. That means we need to get the timing out again. Besides that, looks like there's a leak from the water pump, which I don't understand. It's a new block, it's a new water pump, new gaskets, new bolts, torqued all the bolts to spec. So I'm not sure why the water pump should be leaking. That's strange. That doesn't make sense. That pisses me off. So just looking at the front here, we have an oil leak and a coolant leak. Wonderful. So that's looking at the front. Looking at the rear side of the oil sump, it's leaking as well. It's all moist under here. So that means that I didn't put enough sealant when doing the sump. I thought I was actually generous with the sealant when doing the oil sump. That's strange. So that's another reason to not be happy. There's the turbo oil drain line, which I said I need to replace. So it's nothing new. We knew that will need doing, so that's okay. Gearbox, of course. I can see a mark. Ooh, this is new. There's a mark on the screamer pipe and on the right-hand side axle. So they have definitely made contact. Suppose I'll need to rotate the wastegate a bit to get the screamer pipe away from the axle. Okay, what else? Looking at the left-hand side, all the fittings on the steering rack are dry. So at least that's good news, right? Also, looking at the anti-roll bar, it seems to have shifted to the left-hand side. I wonder what could have caused that. So that's another issue that will need sorting. So I can see that the left-hand rocker cover is also leaking a bit, which this side we resealed. I mean, most of it is dry, but there's still in the corner, there's a bit of oil. So that'll need resealing as well. So I would say overall, it looks like I really messed up this time. Happy days. I don't know if there's any point addressing the lower control arm bushings at this point before seeing to everything else that is wrong. I think the engine may need to come out in order to see to all these things. Maybe not, actually, but we'll see. So I'll start with the control arms. We'll get that out of the way, and then we'll see what we move on to next. Oh, look, it's all clean. See? Nothing happened. Nothing's leaking. Look, good as new. Now that I'm done sulking, it's time to get to work. Removing the front control arms is pretty straightforward. You have the sway bar end links that need disconnecting. There's a 14mm bolt that secures the front ball joint to the knuckle before it can be removed. 17mm bolt and nut connecting the front bushing to the subframe, and the two 19mm bolts holding the rear bushing to the chassis. Now to remove the old bushings, I started with the front. Secured the control arm in a vise, used a socket and hammer to press out the inner sleeve. After that, removing the old dry and stiff bushings with your hand is a piece of cake. Now these are the new bushings I bought to replace the old ones. They are specific for the 01 to 07 GD chassis. The reason I went with these is because apparently the tubular subframe I bought is for GD bushings, which as you can see here are longer than the GC bushings I just removed from the control arms. Wasn't aware of that when I first ordered the new subframe, but we now have the correct bushings, so No worries. Fitting the front bushings didn't require any special equipment, simply use the supplied grease and press everything into place. The rear was a bit of a different story. You need to first remove the 24mm nut holding it to the control arm. After removing it, I could see that it was in desperate need of replacing. So here again, I removed the inner sleeve using a matching size socket and hammer. I cut the wide edge of the bushing to make it easier to press out, and then just used a socket to push it out with my hands like an 8 would do, if given the opportunity. Then, after greasing it up, I used a hydraulic press to fit the new bushing in. It's my first time using a press, so I was having fun. I then pressed the inner sleeve in, which does have a flat side and a chamfered side, so you do need to make sure you are pressing it in the right way. The second thing to take notice of is the orientation of the bushing itself. Since it's off-centered, and if you want the caster to be affected the way you intend it to, you need to make sure the way you are putting it back in positions the lower control arm accordingly. So after pressing the new bushings in, refitted the lower control arm, which now fit very snug in the subframe, which I was very happy about. That is compared to when it was just floating in there with the previous bushings. After the right hand side was done and all fitted back, it was time to do a rinse and repeat on the left hand side. We don't need to go through the whole process since it's exactly the same. After fitting both control arms back, try playing with the sway bar to get it centered. And so that was the first job done. Next job on the list was the gearbox. This gearbox has been leaking from the front diff covers ever since it came back from being rebuilt, so I bought all the new oil seals and O-rings from Subaru to sort this issue once and for all. Started with removing the front axles, which then made me realize it's probably a good idea to first drain the gearbox oil. So drained the gearbox oil and removed both front axles, which let me tell you, it's not as easy as it looks, but if you manage to push the wheel out far enough, then they come out no problem. Now, before removing the sundial covers, it's recommended to mark them so that you can count the rotations, since they do need to return to the exact same depth as they were before removing them. While in the past you had to use a flathead screwdriver and hammer to get these sundial covers to move, today there are special tools available for this job exactly. This, for example, is a sundial cover removal tool made by a company called Company 23, which if you work on your Subaru regularly, you should definitely hop on their website and have a look around, because they make loads of Subaru specific tools which make the experience of working on your Subaru much more bearable. Using this tool makes removing the covers an absolute breeze. Just don't forget to count the rotations while removing them. I myself reached 7 rotations before the cover came out completely. So after giving the cover a thorough clean, pressed the new oil seal in, fitted the new O-ring, and added a little bit of gear oil to the O-ring and the thread. When refitting the covers, make sure to get them in as straight as possible so the O-ring doesn't accidentally get pinched on the way in. And another tip that seemed to help me is inserting your thumb to raise the front diff for the first 3 or 4 rotations, and once the diff is resting inside the bearing carrier, then you can move on to using the Company 23 tool. For the left-hand side, again, was a rinse and repeat, cleaned all the surfaces, and filled the gearbox with Redline heavyweight shockproof gearbox oil. Everything seems to be dry for now. Let's hope it stays that way. Moving on to the next day, I took the car to get an alignment. There was a ton of work to do because if you've been following the last few videos, then you will know that the front subframe, rear lateral arms, steering rack, and now the new front control arm bushings have all been replaced, and that meant nothing was where it should be. So now that the alignment is done, I think it's time to go for a little spin. Okay, so front lower control arm bushings have been done, front and rear. Gearbox leak has been fixed, alignment has been done, and now I'm just waiting for some new fittings and heat sleeves so I can do the turbo oil return line. I'll make a new one. First thing I'm gonna say, even before the alignment, while I was on the way from the shop to get an alignment, the car already feels 10 times sharper. I mean, it's a lot more solid. The whole front is now held together. I didn't know that front control arm bushings could make such a difference. I don't know what the situation is like in your vehicle, but if you feel any kind of slop in the front, in the steering, first thing I would do is see what the situation of your lower control arm bushings are, because that made a huge difference. Really significant, really night and day, even before getting an alignment. So highly recommended checking that out. Now, after doing an alignment, car feels amazing. Car feels very sharp, very responsive. It feels like an oversized go-kart. And after reading some comments from the previous video, I realized that I kept saying, you know, the steering wheel is so sharp, the steering wheel is so sharp. I think I forgot to mention that I fitted a new PRS quick steering rack. That was the reason the whole steering felt different. For those of you who don't know the PRS quick steering rack, so if I'm not mistaken, the EUDM GC8 arrived with it was either 3.4, 3.6 steering wheel rotations from lock to lock, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. With the PRS quick steering rack, it's 2.2 steering wheel rotations from lock to lock, so it like transformed the entire experience of driving the GC. I think it's one of those things that you don't realize how much you needed that modification till you actually felt what it does to the car. So quick ratio steering rack, I highly recommend. Now, a few things I noticed while doing these few jobs, starting with the gearbox, the sundial covers. The right-hand side and the left-hand side are different sizes, and so the tool I got fits one side. It's my mistake, I didn't know there was a difference between the two sides. So that was a mistake on my side, not doing enough research before going to do this job of replacing the O-rings and seals, oil seals on the sundial covers. But apparently on this gearbox, I think it's a 2003 STI. That was what I was told when purchasing it, but I don't really know, I can't say. The right-hand side sundial cover is smaller than the left-hand side, so you can't just order the same part number for both sides. Apparently, the oil seals are also directional. They have an arrow on them, they're directional, and so you also can't get the same part number for both sides. Again, I might be wrong. I'm just sharing what I understood during the process of ordering the parts and doing the work, etc. If you know otherwise, let me know. So that's to do with the gearbox. Now, the front anti-roll bar. For some reason, it shifted to the left-hand side. I centered it and retightened everything, but since this is probably a GC anti-roll bar and the subframe is from a GD model, so they do not align, the mounting points. They don't fit. When doing the alignment, so the alignment guy, he confirmed what I suspected, and he said it looks like the anti-roll bar is not sitting in the mounting points like it's supposed to. So I'll probably have to get a different anti-roll bar for the front. Like at this point, like I said in the previous video, I would like to take a short break from just doing more and more mods on the GC. I want to enjoy it for a bit, I want to drive it for a bit. You know, what's the point of just throwing parts at it if you don't get to feel them and compare between them, like what the car feels before you do a modification, what it feels like afterwards. So that is why I want to do a proper just driving video. Now that I've done an alignment, film some just, you know, point of view driving video. Let me know if you'd like to see that if you're interested. And another thing, after I had time to calm down and think a bit, looking at all the oil leaks that I have at the moment, it seems that the common denominator, besides me being the one who fitted and installed everything, for all the places that are leaking, the same 3-bond sealant was used on all of those surfaces. I noticed that also when the left-hand side rocker cover was leaking, and also now that the sump is leaking, I straight away assumed that I didn't fit the oil seals correctly. When talking about the rocker cover, it looked like it was coming from one of the cam seals. Now looking at the oil pump, I thought it was coming from the oil pump oil seal, but it looks like the oil pump isn't leaking at all, and the leak on the left-hand side rocker cover was coming from the front cam cap, which also I used the same 3-bond sealant. I put this all together around April, and when going back and looking at the tube that I used, I believe what was written on it is the expiration date, which was end of April. So I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Can sealant go bad? I've heard that sometimes when 3-bond sealant is expired, so it never completely dries, and that could be the cause why everything was leaking. It doesn't explain why the oil pump isn't leaking, because I use the same 3-bond sealant on that, so I don't know. Maybe it's just my my shitty work, you know, which is why everything is leaking, but that's the situation at the moment. If it's only the oil sump and the rocker covers or cam caps, engine doesn't need to come out, but we'll see. If there are other things, if everything I put together is leaking, maybe I'll just take the engine out, reseal everything, refit everything, do it properly, then maybe I won't have a leaky engine and gearbox. Now, even though I don't want to install any new mods at the moment, I just want to drive the car, there's still some jobs I would like to do nonetheless, which is relocating the engine bay fuse box. I want to make a few custom brackets, a few custom parts, just to move a few things around, and probably also recirculate the cans back into the turbo inlet pipe. They still vent out to atmosphere, you can still smell it sometimes, especially when standing in standstill traffic, so I prefer they just recirculate into the turbo inlet pipe, and then we'll be done with smelly fumes entering the the car. Probably add an oil engine cooler and probably just swap out the front and rear anti-roll bars. And so just a lot of small things, nothing major. I wanna focus on enjoying the car for now. So that's all for this video. It's a relatively short one this time. And so thank you very much for watching. Until next time, see you in the next one.